happy privilege to turn the service over to our pastor, Sister Rose. Please welcome her as she comes.
Yes. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Yes, yes. We may have a lot of issues going on, but everything has an end. Everything. We're so happy this morning to have all of you here. May the Lord reach out and bless you. He already knows what you want before you ask him. We're glad that you came to church. You couldn't be in a better place. A place where God is at, where his presence is here. We need to be in his presence. It will save our lives from a lot of things. But we spend too less time in the presence of God. As a result, we find a lot of issues going on in our lives. But we're glad that you're here this morning. I think this message is going to speak to a lot of people. I want you to listen to it very carefully because God knew you were going to be here today. I didn't know, but he did. So we're coming to you from, St. Matthew's 27th chapter. Father, we're grateful this morning for your blessings, for all that you've done for us. It's a privilege to be in your house. Thank you for giving your life in our behalf. Thank you because you made the crooked path straight. And you gave us peace instead of anxiety. You give us love that's overwhelming. Everything that we ever needed in our life, you've given it to us, and we thank you for it today. I pray that you would touch the hearts of people in this room, that they'll take a long look at themselves and say, where am I at, and how did I get here? But there's a way out. I ask you to touch their lives this morning, and we'll give you glory and honor in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Yes. The first verse says, when the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priests took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. I want to preach to you a little bit this morning. We are living in a time when there's a lot of hopelessness in the world. People get up every day not quite knowing how this day is going to turn out. They're going through difficult times in their life, and they're wondering how we're going to fix it. And I say to you this morning, everybody at some point in time in your life done something you should not have done. You feel some sense of regret, some sense of feeling that I messed up. Now, when I look at this story about Judas, I understand very well. He said, I don't want this, I shouldn't have did it, but he didn't think about that before. Sometimes we make moves in our life before we think about it. You got to stop and think for a minute and see, where am I going with this? We oftentimes when we're getting ready to do something in our life, it looks good at the beginning, but on the other side of that coin, it don't look so good. So Judas went to betray him, and when he saw them come and get him, he started getting scared. And so he took the 30 pieces of silver to take his life, which we know in that day was amount to no more than about $2.65 in today. That's no value. And I think, for the most part, a lot of people don't have any value for where he's concerned. We don't really value him in our life. I tell you for sure, in my life, I could not make it without God. And every person in this building this morning should be saying, I cannot make it without God. Because there's too many things going on, too many difficult times. This world is not the easiest place to live in, but when you got God, it makes all the difference in the world. So as I looked at this, I'm thinking, as you think about this message this morning, think for a minute and say, you know what? What have I done in my life and it still torments me to this day? To this day. I wish I hadn't did it. I wish I could change it, except we cannot change it. You got to look at your life and say, you know what? I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to get it together. You talk to people about it. You go to friends. You go to family. And you find out nobody has the answer. The only person that's got the answer is Jesus. We too often times say, well, that's not what I'm looking for. Of course, that's what you need. You may not be looking for it, but that's what you need. And so Judas now is tormented. He takes the 30 pieces of silver back to the people he had betrayed Jesus with. And he said, I can't keep this. And they said, what's that to us? You already got it? I don't care about it. I don't care what you do with it. And he threw the 30 pieces of silver down on the ground, and he went out and hanged himself. How many people in our society today have done something that you feel like there's no way out of it, so I'm just going to kill myself? That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Anytime people get to the place they want to commit suicide, they need to stop for a minute. You know why? Because there is a life after this life. So you may say to yourself, well, if I just do this, I'll be doing fine. I'll be way past this thing. If I just take my life, it'll be all over. No, it's just beginning. Because the things that we go to after this life is eternal things. We're either going to heaven or we're going to hell. And understand this, the devil don't let you see that what you're going through in this life is nothing compared to the other side. Judas didn't think. He just knew I had to do something. A lot of times when people commit suicide, they just feel like I got to do something. I can't take it no more. I don't want to wake up to another day. Wake up with Jesus. It's going to make the difference in your life. But if you don't wake up with him, you're not going to have it. I talked to a man not long ago, stayed on my mind, and he said to me, Sister Rose, he said, I've been thinking about killing myself for years. And he was just crying, and I said, you don't want to do that. He said, I just feel this thing in me that makes me want to kill myself. The voices, you often hear people talk about the voices in their head that they heard telling them to commit suicide. That is not a good thing to do. It's going to make your life worse. And I can tell you this, there is nothing worse in this world to the point that I'm going to kill myself. It's not going to happen. I remember one time before I became a Christian many, many years ago, my husband was stationed in Germany. And I got tired of Germany. It rained, rain, rain, and rain. You had few days of sunshine that actually affects people psychologically, but I didn't know that. But I thought, I want to go back to the States. I don't want to be over here. There's nothing to do. I didn't drive. Because after I saw the Germans on the highway, when they flashed those lights, you better get out of the way. There was no such thing as you just take your time. When they flash them lights, it means move. And there is no speed limit. I thought, no, not driving in no place where they have no limits. Not going to happen. You know, as much as man watch this. When they first changed the speed limits in the United States, they took us down to 55 an hour. You know what we'll do? We'll do 65. It is something with man that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to do it. 55 is too slow. 60, that's just too slow. It's better you be a little slow than dead. That's a fact. Now they raised it back up to 75 miles an hour. What we do? We drive 80, 85 miles an hour. It's never going to be enough. It's how people think. It's where they're at in their lives. They never stop to think, well, why do I need to raise the thing? Because I don't like it when it's that slow. Well, you just said 55 was slow. They gave you 75. You're still complaining. How many people down our highways for the simple fact they should have slowed down? They just drive crazy, they drive wild, and then they're alarmed at sometimes when something happens. It happens because you're not thinking. I could lose my life out here. I told you back in my day we had what we call the CB. And everybody had one. This is a long time ago. And you go down the highway, and if you see the law enforcement, you call them Smokey. So, we were driving, trying to get to where we were going. And so I put my ears on. That's what we call put your ears on talk. And I said, Smokey, why don't you get out of the way? You slowing down traffic everywhere. Well, he don't know who's talking to him because all these cars on the road. I said, this is brown sugar. You need to get out the way so we can move a bit. The words he said to me that day I shall never forget. He said, I am trying to save your life. I never forgot it. There's an accident ahead that you don't see. I'm trying to save your life. That's what God is trying to do to all of us. I'm trying to save your life. I want you to have abundant life. I want you to be happy. I want you to be filled. God is saying, I love you. I don't want bad things to happen to you. We don't pay him any attention. We just kind of shove him aside. Stop for a minute. Some people are so desperate this morning till they feel like the only way out is suicide. Because I've tried everything else, nothing works. Kill myself. Let me let you hear some of the statistics that we pulled up this morning. It's a lot of people killing themselves. Each year, 44,193 Americans die by suicide. That's a lot of people. On average, there are 121 suicides a day. The rate of suicide is higher in middle-aged white men in particular. Now, I didn't write this, so don't blame me for that one. This is what this comes, statistics. He said in middle age, you got more people that's going to commit suicide, but especially men, white men. The majority of suicides occur in the spring. The reason why is not known yet. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for college youth and ages 12 through 18. That's a tragedy. Each day in our nation, there are an average of over 5,240 attempts by young people grades 7 through 12. These are kids. What is it to happen to our kids that they don't want to live? They don't deal with all this other stuff. Sometimes they deal with bullying. They deal with one thing or another. But for the most part, you would think as a kid, why do you want to kill yourself? Okay, listen. So it says, factors that increase the risk of suicide among teens and young adults include feelings of distress, irritability, or agitation. Feelings of hopelessness. That's the key. And worthless. I'm not worth anything, and I don't have any hope that things are going to ever change or get better. Emotional. They're worthless and emotional in so many areas of their life. Physical or sexual abuse. Lack of a support network. Physical or sexual abuse. And then he goes on to say a support of network of people that you're working with. That we need people around us. Physical or sexual. Listen. Poor relationships with parents or peers. And feelings of social isolation. I don't fit in. That's what they say. I don't fit in. Let me tell you, when you get God in your life, you fit. You fit. He helps you to fit. Otherwise, you out there just beating your head against a wall, can't understand it. And let me say this. How many people have definitely spoke to you and said, you're not worth anything? Why don't you, there was a teenager not long online that said she killed herself because she said, everybody said, you're not worth nothing. You know what? That's my decision to say how much I'm worth, not yours. You know what? You must understand one thing. Anybody who tells you something negative about yourself does not have control over you, but you have control over how you feel about yourself. But just because you don't think I'm good enough, just because you think something negative about me, doesn't mean I have to be that. I'm not going to accept that. You know, when we were kids, our parents always called us names. That it's kind of common among black people to be truthful. And my grandma used to call us a little demon from hell. I never believed I was a demon from hell. You can call me that all day long. It's about what you believe about yourself. So if somebody's trying to tear you down and tell you that, you know what, you're just no good. You know, if I were you, I'd just end it all. No, you go and end it. You cannot make me feel less about myself unless I let you do that. And sometimes we just run with the wrong people. People that put you down, make you feel bad, give you a difficult time, forget you. That's why you got to look up and say, no, I'm not buying that. I don't know what all things they called us, but it never fazed me. To this day, it don't faze me what you think about me. Because everybody in this room this morning has an opinion about me. I guarantee it. From the time I walked in this pulpit, like, woman preacher? Yes. Sure is. Well, I don't know about that. What do you think? It doesn't matter. I don't have to answer to you. But I tell you one thing, I will preach to you. And then if you don't like it, we have several doors you can go out. Nobody's going to give you a difficult time. We're not going to make you stay in here. If you want to depart, go ahead. See? But understand this. If you allow yourself to try to live your life without God, it's going to be hard. I'm talking next to everything that you could have in your life. It's just horrible. It's the worst thing. And sometimes what we're dealing with is not really that bad. It's how we've convinced ourselves in our own mind that I just can't make it in this world. You can make it with God. One time I was in Germany with my husband, and we had, if you've never been there, Germans' bathtubs are very skinny, very narrow, but they're very deep. So like our tubs here, you may get water a little bit above the belly button, a little bit more. But in Germany, when you sit down in that tub, it's all the way up here. And I wasn't fond of water because I don't swim. And so I was really depressed. I didn't want to be there. I want to go home. Issues upon issues. My husband was gone to the field 30 days at a time. There was nothing to do. It's raining. You don't drive. I just want to go home depressed. That's why I made up my mind. I got to turn to God. I can't live like this. I got in the bathtub that day, and the devil knew if he ever done something wrong that day, he did it wrong. So what you should do is just go on under the water and drown yourself. I said, I ain't that depressed. Don't you think for a moment, I'm not that depressed. It's difficult, but I ain't never been down in the dumps where I wanted to even consider. No way. It's not even a consideration. Because I'm here to stay until God says it's enough. That's the way you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to take your own life. God is the one that has the power to end it, not you. But you know what? I would convince you that most people in this country, if you could get them to turn to God, these rates would change. They would change. God is the missing thing here. So all these people committing suicide, they don't even know there's a better place and you can do it better with God. I don't have to do so. Well, do you want to go to church? Not really. I don't think so. That's where you need to go. That's where life is. That's where the word of God is coming forth to you to get you to change, to help you. Now, he knew you was going to be here this morning. I am convinced there's people all over this building have thought about suicide. Not every person, but many have. I do. I don't know if you remember years ago there was a show on TV called Chico and the Man. Yeah. You had to be a little older to understand it because some of y'all may not have never heard about it. But he was very popular. Stardom came to him so quick. And his show was just knocking it out of the park. His show, anybody want to remember, he was really funny. But everybody that's funny ain't funny. They don't feel it. Now, he sat down on the couch one day with a gun down by the pillow. And he sat there for a while. And pretty soon he took the gun out and blew his brains out. A young man, I think he was in late 20s. Took away his life. Now you say, okay, you got stardom, you got money, you got fame, you got all these things. Why would you kill yourself? Money don't make you happy. People that are poor never reach that conclusion. They say, well, I'd like to see what it feels like. Well, if you saw what it felt like, it might cause you to kill yourself. People are depressed with millions of dollars. Millions. I was listening to a story the other day about Warren Buffett. He's a billionaire, and his daughter said she never knew he had money until she was almost grown. Never knew. And one of his daughters came in one day and said, Dad, can you let me have some money? He said, no, I can't give you a loan. You'll have to work. Are you kidding me? I'll pay it with interest. You need to work. He doesn't value money, his daughter said. He's an older man, but she said, my father don't value money. You know why? Because he found out that's not where happiness is. He found out that's not where you get your excitement from. So it's not that important. That's why he said before he dies, he plans to give away all of his wealth. All of it. He said, that's my plan. And he's still giving out millions of dollars to all these different organizations and what have you. But he said, I don't want anything left when I die. He's not leaving nothing to his own kids. No, you need to work. And people say, how do you feel? How do you do that to your family? Because I want you to learn, if you work for it hard, understand it's still not going to give you what you think you need. But we think we need it. We think, oh, this is it. And you look at the stars on TV and all the fine clothes and the jewelry and all this stuff. And if I could just be rich for a day, and you probably would be broke for a day. It's a fact because people don't know how to deal with money. So I don't know, I may go out there and just spend all day long. Just keep spending. And then come home and say, I don't have anything left. So what did you buy? I don't know. It's amazing how it does not help people to become happy. But we're trying to put our happiness in a place where it doesn't work. It doesn't work there. So you got to look at yourself and say, are you depressed? These are the things that cause people to commit suicide. first of all, hopeless. I have no hope. When we went to the prison to preach down in Florence, Colorado, the chaplain Raleigh was the chaplain that was over the religious services there. And he said to me, he said, Rose, I will never understand why they put people in prison and give them 3 life sentences. You only have 1. So why would I give you 3? He said what it does, it takes away hope for people. At least let me have hope. Even though it may be said that I'm not going to ever get out, I need to hope that maybe somewhere down the road it's going to work for me. But if you tell me 3 life sentences, I don't have no hope. Because furthermore, you're not going to live that long. And he said, I can't see why they do that to people. And I think sometimes it's just the anger of these people committing crimes. And if I have the authority to sentence you, I'm going to put you away where you can never get out. But I saw young men in that prison, talented. They were men that were not stupid. I mean, you were surprised at how talented they was and gifted to do so many things. A lady sent me flowers from the prison up in Denver this week for my birthday, and she made it out of cardboard or construction paper in Denver. These were the most unusual flowers. I kept looking at them thinking, wow, they are really pretty. They look so pretty, but they're paper because that's all she can do. And so when you look at that, you think it's the little things in life that we sometimes don't think is worth nothing. It's those things that matter in our life. The best things in life don't cost you nothing. But we don't want that. We want to go through all these changes and go from one thing to another. Think this morning, there's a way out of your situation. Don't make up in your mind, I'm just going to end it all. You'll leave people back here suffering and crying and they're sad. Do you ever think about that? Robin Williams not long ago took his life. He was always acting a fool, laughing and carrying on all the time. You think he's the happiest guy on the planet. But had been tormented with thoughts of suicide. And one night just sitting in the room by himself and killed himself. I try in my mind, the only conclusion I can come to is that the devil has control of people's mind, and that's why they're making these decisions. Because nobody really wants to kill themselves. Think about it. Teenagers, middle-aged people, old people, and then there's the thing that if I get sick and I'm terminal, then I need to end it all. No, you need to wait. You need to go through what you got to go through. A lady's husband back in Oklahoma when we were stationed there, he got cancer of the throat, and he was tormented to death. The pain was unbelievable. They didn't know he found a gun in the house. And he kept saying, if this don't stop, I'm going to kill myself. I can't take the pain no more. He took the gun and put it under here, and he blew part of his head off. I don't want to be here. But hell is a whole lot worse. Think about it. Hell is a place of torment. Hell is a place where you never come out. Hell is that place that God really originally made it for the devil and his angels, but because you served him, he put you there with them. But that's why you need to serve God. Get it together. I was a miserable person before I got saved, but once I got saved, I'm as happy as a lark. No matter what goes on in my life, no matter how difficult it is, I tell you what, I make the best of every situation. You couldn't stop me from laughing and enjoying life if you wanted to. I don't care how difficult it is, how dark it may seem. Because you know what? When you know God, you can head to your knees and talk to God and say, Lord, help me. I'm in a situation that I can't do this by myself. Yes. You say, well, you don't understand, Sister Rose, because the things I've been going through, I don't know if anybody else is going through. Yes, they are, and worse. And worse. We always get this feeling like I can say, well, it's not as bad as my situation. Why do you want to give it some good feeling? This is a real bad thing here. Why? No. You can make the best out of any situation. No matter how difficult it is, you can make the best if you want to. But I find people don't want to come out. I'm depressed. Some people just sit around all the time constantly depressed. I told one of our members the other day, she found out that she has some different diseases or whatever, and every time you see her, she's like this. I said, honey, if you don't raise up, find a way to smile, and begin to do what's good for you, you're going to be a miserable person, and you won't live very long. Do you know medical science says for the people who can laugh and have a good time live longer when they get sick than the people who's depressed? Just depressed. How you doing? It ain't good today. Well, come on. It can be better. Yeah, I don't know, but you don't understand. I'm going through a lot right now. We all go through something. But everybody has a way out if they want it. But most people don't want God. They don't want him in their life. That's not what I'm looking for. You can't just be religious. You got to be a Christian. One that'll turn your life to God and say, Lord, here I am. Fix me. Fix me. See, I got tired over 50-something years ago. I was the meanest thing on the planet. They don't get worse than me. Mean, fighting, because I feel like nobody cared anyway. That was my way to justify where I was. Nobody cares about me. Why should I care about anybody? Why was I mad at the world? It didn't give me no satisfaction. I got tired. I got tired of fighting, beating up people, carrying a weapon. This is not living here. My life was miserable. And I looked up to God and I said, God, I'm tired of living like this. If you get tired of living, you'll change your life. When you get tired of the situation you're in, you'll come to the person that can make a difference. That's up to you. Or you can just sit there all day. I would never feel sorry for the person who cuts off his own hand. And they said, could you help me? No. You had two hands. You're stupid enough to throw one away? And then you want somebody to help you with it? No. Stop and think. I read an article one time where this lady went to the hospital and she told the doctors, I don't need these legs anymore. Cut both of them off. And the doctor says, I'm not going to do that. She said, I don't need these legs. I thought, I'm glad I got mine. And if it was possible, put yours on ice. When these wear out, we got a couple of sets. Why don't you want your legs? She said, just cut them off. They're in the way. I thought, are you kidding me? Well, she finally found a doctor that gave her what she asked for. And he cut off both legs. I thought, where have you been? I mean, it's nothing like being able to get up and walk around and go places and do things. You ain't got no legs. You got to depend on somebody to push you around and take you here. Come on. And didn't really give a reason. I just feel like I don't need them. They get in the way. My legs ain't never got in the way. Never. I thank God for them every day. Yes. We can move around. We can go places, do things. You want to cut off? We got a brother here in the church named Zach sitting back there. And Zach had some issues before he came to this church. And the doctor said, oh, what you need to do is cut off your legs. He said, I'm not cutting my legs off. Well, you're not using them. I'm not cutting them off. There's a chance somewhere down the road that I can walk again. I'm not going to get rid of it. That's where hope is. Hey, I'm hoping that I'm going to walk again. I don't care what the doctor said. I'm not giving up my legs. No, not doing it. Well, they ain't going to do you no good. Well, that's what you say. But since and last time he went to the doctor to be checked up, when he walked in, you just need to get your legs cut off. I'm not doing it. And why is that the only option that you're giving me? If you can't do nothing, just say you can't do it, but don't tell me to cut them off. I'm hanging on to this. If things are really bad in your life, and they come that way for everybody, you got to look at it as a situation and say, you know what? It ain't that bad. I guarantee you wouldn't have to walk 2 miles from your house before you find somebody worse than you. I guarantee you. You complain about all you got is biscuits and beans. Thank God for it. There's somebody that don't have that. You got to learn to be thankful for what you have in your life. I'm not for a moment going to just renounce all that. I'm just, life ain't worth living. It may not be for you. But if you come to God, you'll find out it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. So what's wrong? We're in a state of despair. That's what makes people kill themselves. It's loss of hope. Hopelessness, someone or something that causes this hopelessness to come. I don't think it'll ever get any better. You know what? When I was coming up as a girl, my grandmother took us and raised us because they declared my mother a unfit mother. And so we had to live with my grandmother. I went there when I was 6 years old, and my sister was 5. And I used to say, I want a real mother, not my grandmother, to come to the school. Everybody else got their mom and their dad. I want my mom to come, but my mom didn't care. My grandmother was the real mother. And you know what? I didn't grow up with this thing. You know what? My mother deserted me. What am I going to do? I mean, my dad, he wasn't there. I think that's the reason I'm messed up the way I am. No, you allowing that to mess you up. To this day, I didn't miss one thing having a mother. Because my grandmother raised me. She did a good job. And I loved her. I didn't feel like I lost a mother until I lost my grandmother. So you got to stop and think, how much of your life, from the time you were young and children, are you still letting dominate your life, how you think, how you feel? Think about it. I've counseled people that said, Sister Rose, the reason why I'm like this, my whole family's messed up. We all the same. We do this. Why can't you step out? Step out of the situation. I don't have to be like them just because they're my parents. Just because it's my sister, brother. I don't have to be like you. My sisters and brothers never quite understood me because, they were always talking about how bad it was when we was kids. We looked like refugees. We looked bad. They took pictures and all of us looked like, when no kids smiling, we looking like this. Everybody. Life is bad. We're the poor kids. We live in the projects. We live in places. One time was a store, and we end up moving in there, and staying there for a while where the wind blowed in so hard you didn't know you had walls. You can either thank God for the time of difficulty and look at it today. Regardless of what I was then, what am I now? I'm a different person. I've got life. I've got excitement. I've got joy. While you're sitting around wondering, you know what? I don't know. All of us had it bad. I left my sisters and brothers in the waiting room at the hospital when I went to see my mother have surgery, and they were all sitting around crying. My oldest brother was way older than me. He sat there and said, you know what? We had it bad. I'm thinking, what, do you have it bad now? I was sexually abused. Are you still being sexually abused? You adult. If it happened when you were a kid, I'm an adult now. I can say I won't and I don't have to. See? I can look at every situation I've been in and change it. And say, you know what? I'm not going to spend my life thinking about what it used to be. I'm talking about what I am today. And if you were a bad person you used to be, thank God for the person you are today. Yes. Discouragement makes you depressed. I don't think nothing will ever happen. You mean you are deprived of courage, no hope or confidence. No, you're in a situation where you're obstructed by opposition or difficulty. See, there's always going to be somebody there who's going to tell you you can't do that. Well, I had an uncle who tried it. That didn't work for them. I'm not your uncle. I'm not your mama. I'm not your dad. Quit telling me about all the bad things. That's why you're not going to make it either, because they never made it. And my father was a real fighter. No, he wasn't. Because if he'd have been a real fighter, he'd still be fighting. See, I'm not giving in to that. It's a bunch of garbage. Look at your life today and say, you know what? I came into this building this morning. I feel lousy. I just felt like I'll go on to church this morning, but there ain't going to be nothing going on. You went to the wrong church. Come to the right church. Then you don't have to sit up and feel sad and broke down. And I went to church, I left the way I came. When you come to church, you're supposed to leave different. Not the way you came. Yes. I can feel some sense of disheartening because I deal with disapproval. Who approves of what you're doing? Don't care. You know the best thing that happened to me? Live long enough. Best thing happened to you when you know you've matured and grown up is when somebody says something that don't even matter. Don't even bother me. And when you were young, you're like, how could you say that to me? I mean, like, God, I don't care about my feelings. No. I don't see how you could do that to a person. But I'm trying. I'm not getting ready to cry with you. Go on. I told a lot of people in the church, I said, when somebody call you and they got a self-pity party going on, they send you an invitation, tell them you don't come to those. Don't go there. How many times have you felt better and your phone rang? Hello? Jenny! Yes. What's wrong? I don't know. It's not my day. It's everything can go wrong. It's going wrong. What do I do? You should say, I'm praying for you. I'll see you. Because that news right there will pull you all the way down. I used to all the time sit at the desk over here when people came to church, and I would shake everybody's hand that came over there. If I said this to a person, well, how are you doing? Well, Sister Rose, I say, you're fine. God bless you. We're not getting ready to hear you whine. Hey, it's tough for everybody. So I quit sitting at the desk. They want for a minute to tell you their story. You know, I already said if you want a counseling session, you have to call the church. I can't counsel you at the desk when all these people are lined up trying to get up here. They'll do it anyway. It's something you got to hear me, though. I know you said it, but you don't understand. This is really bad. I'm thinking, no, not bad. I don't look at everything that happens in my life as a tragedy. I look at it as God is working something out for me. And he's going to give me the strength to go through it. He's going to help me in spite of. So I'm not looking at everything like, oh, my God, I sure wish this hadn't happened. But what are you going to do with it since it's happened? You can't change it. You know, when my husband passed away some 20-some years ago, I had to preach his funeral because I promised him if he'd go before me, I would always preach his funeral. And I made up my mind the day of the funeral. I will not be upset. I will not fall out on the floor. And I love my husband. We've been married 34 years. And I'm not going to let I want to be an example to our people what it means that when you're going through a crisis, you still can stand up and do what you got to do. I buried him on Thursday. I was in the pulpit on Sunday. I didn't come to the pulpit. Well, if you wasn't depressed, you're getting ready to be. The preacher's crying and breaking down in the pulpit. What's going on? See? No, you got to stand tall. That's what leadership is about. Though there's a crisis, though it's difficult, though it's hard. But I don't have to give in to this. Then 5 years later, 4 years, I guess Nita, my daughter, that was a twin, was 29 years old. She passed away. Her husband was the man you saw up here singing this morning. And I remember her sitting on the platform behind him. He was sitting there. I could tell from the back of his head he was getting ready to really let it go. I punched him in the back. I said, not now. Wait till you get home. Not in the church. These people come for help. They come for strength. They don't need to hear you crying in the pulpit. Honey, we got to have a life. We got to smile. We got to talk about something. See? When Christmas rolled around that year, I didn't want to go to my daughter's house. That's where we went every year because Charles wasn't here. And I thought, I'm not going to make their Christmas sad. I'll go. I went to their house. I was sad in my heart. But nobody really knew it. Because I want my kids to enjoy their Christmas. They already lost their dad. I lost my husband. So what do? I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing at the moment. At the moment. no matter what's coming. Look at your life. It may not be the death of a loved one. It may be something else. But you got either going to say, I'm not going to sit here in a stupor and just look at this situation. It ain't making you better. If it doesn't make you better, move on. You need to say enough is enough. He died. Is he coming back? No. My daughter died. She's not coming back. No. And I took my little grandson in my arms. I don't know how old were you, Kyle? Almost 2. I took him up to the casket to see Nita, and he was looking like this. He's very smart. And I said, do you want to stay up here and look at? He said, I want you to get me away from up here. Like I may not understand all this, but I need you to get me away from here. So I did what he wanted. I took him away. But you know what? Whatever was going on that he couldn't tell me, he knew one thing: getting away from the situation was going to be better. Don't let a 2-year-old outdo you. Say, I know, I'm going to be better. You need to start talking positive instead of, I don't know how to get out of this, and what am I going to do? You know, all this stuff. Hey! So what? If you look at every situation, every bad situation that you have, and think, look for the good things in it. Every bad situation has a good thing. Somewhere in there, if you'll look for it. Not for me. I make it for sure, don't talk to them. You can't help a person who don't want help. That's bad as the people when the church was on a fast. And I tell the new converts, because I know they're not used to fasting, so call me if it gets a little rough for you. They called me after they ate the cornflakes. I said, honey, you're supposed to call me before you ate. I'm just trying to encourage them, honey, you can make it. God will give you strength. And we've been down this road before. And they said, Well, Sister Rose already had some cornflakes. I said, why are you calling me? I'm the one supposed to encourage you to keep going. They didn't want to keep going. They wanted some food. And that's the way people are in their life everywhere. Things that they do not want to change, they'll fight you on it. Yeah, but you don't know about this. Well, yeah, if you could fix that this way. Well, you don't know about this part. Well, yeah, if you just do this, that'll work. Well, if you do that. No, I don't believe nothing you're telling me. And I'm done with you. Don't wear yourself out trying to help people who don't want to be helped. You sit here this morning and say, I'm glad I came to this church because I was thinking about taking my life. And I thought, sure, after this church service is over, I'm going to jump off the bridge. Why? Why? Don't do that. I'm just gonna kill myself. Why? Something good is behind every dark storm. You ever looked out your window and when the storm was coming, it was dark and the rain was pouring down, sometimes hailing and all this. But wait just a little bit. The sun will shine again. You can pass through this because everything we go through in our life is for the moment. But we're going to pass through it. Wait for the passing through. And what did you learn out of it? How much better is your life because you did go through it? Then you can tell other people, but you can win. Don't be one of those people who say, I don't know nobody who could make it through what you did. I never made it. My mama didn't make it. And I'm not concerned about the people that failed. I'm concerned about the people who made it. Let me set my mind on that. And I don't know all this sad stuff and just down in the dump. Don't know how I'm going to ever get out. I found people, no matter what I've gone through in my life, somebody's faced something more difficult than me. If you just take time, look around, and start reaching out to somebody else and quit sitting in a place somewhere with self-pity and feeling sorry for yourself, you pitiful little thing, you. And don't be around people who help you to have your pity party. Amen. They'll do it for sure. I came over to talk to you. Honey, come on in. I know how you feel. I'm the same way. I'm having a bad day too. I know how you feel. You went to the wrong person. They're not going to help you. People all over this room this morning in that situation. I just called my friend. When I called her, she said she's going to the movie. She didn't have time right now. Could you call me later? I need her to take a moment and listen to me. She didn't want to. She wanted to go to the movie. I don't want to do that. Look at it for God's sake. What are you going to do with this situation? Am I going to take my life? Am I going to live a depressed state till the day I die? Hey, people do it all the time. See, we got to have hope. Hope is essential. Paul said if we only had hope in this life, we'd be of all men most miserable. It's all we're going to get at the end of the day is what we have here. We got to have something to look forward to that's better than this. So then the scripture, people don't even know the scripture, but the scripture's telling you. Here's something good going to happen. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. This is going to happen. If you just get into the word, you'll feel better. David said, I got into the word, and the more I got into it, the better I felt. He said, I don't want to read my Bible. Well, just stay where you are. You don't want to do nothing right. Let it go. People in the Bible, when Saul went to war, I'm sure I got this here. He went to war, and he was wounded in the battle. And he said to the man that was with him, he said, I need you to put the sword in me because I'm wounded. And if you don't, then these people are going to see me die. And the man said, I won't do that. So he took his own sword and fell on it and killed himself because he didn't want the people they were fighting to see him in a wounded condition. How many times have you done that? Just come on, help me. I don't believe in this stuff because people are sick that all y'all get together and put some needles in them and pump them full of poison and say, okay, now, and they struggling for breath. They realize the person sometime who has just thought about taking their life had a change of heart midway. Going off that bridge and going down. And you think at this moment, I shouldn't have did this. But you can't stop it. You're in a bad situation. Think about it. So you know what I think I'll do? First of all, I'll start going to church where I can hear something good. It's a good atmosphere. Don't just expose yourself to a bunch of tormented bad situations. I'm going down here. Go to church. That ain't going to help me. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. God says, I want to give you another chance. I want to show you there's a reason for you to live. You say, I don't even know who I was born for. Just serve God. Get your life right. And then he'll walk with you and he'll talk with you and he'll help you. That's what he wants to do. All you got to do is give it to him. Lord, here it is. If you this morning sitting in this service, you got one thing to do. I'm going up in that prayer line when Sister Rose prayed for people, and I'm going to say to myself, today is the last day that I'm letting the devil run my life. I'm not letting him do it no more. I'm going to quit feeling sad and sorry about everything. I got to have a way out. There's a way out of every situation. The first funeral I preached with one of our members, Jackie was very young, maybe about 40 years old. I had never preached a funeral before, and the Lord gave me the message, a way out. This way out, she was going to heaven. She fell down the steps. She wounded herself, but she didn't know it. And shortly thereafter, she died. But she wasn't trying to kill herself. A way out. Death is a way out for those that are saved. Those that's not serving God, that's not a way out for you. Because you're going to something far worse than this world. Think about it. You don't want to be there. Hell is a horrible place. If you read your Bible, it'll tell you all about hell. You'll think, I ain't killing myself. I'm not going there. Think for a minute. There's a way out. A better way. Choose the better way. That's what's going to help you get through. Don't make, honey, too many people change their mind too late. Too late. While you sit here this morning, you say, Sister Rose, would you pray for me? Yes, I will. Do you care about me? Yes, I do. Well, you don't even know me. Don't have to. The love of God that's in our heart, it reaches out to you and says, what can we do? What ways can we help? Helplessness. Hopeless. I don't know how this thing is going to end. I mean, I know how it's going to end, but I know one thing. I know how I'm going to end it. I'm going to take the right place, do the right thing. And I'm going to hold my head up in spite of it. And I'm saying, look, you're going to make it. Go to the mirror and look at yourself. Don't go there thinking, that's not going to help. I looked as bad yesterday as I do today. No. Go take a look. You may find something more beautiful today. Now I realize I'm an ugly person. I look in the mirror every day, and that's what I see is what I am. Kind of like something good about yourself. You know what? Every one of us sitting here this morning, for sure, you can look at somebody and say, I wish I had your hair. I wish I had your lips. I wish I had your legs. I wish I had this. And then it goes on and on and on. Thank God for what you got. You're not going to change anything. I look at some of the people in the cosmetic magazines I get, and they're pumping up their lips to white people, or they want big lips. I'm thinking, be satisfied with what you got. Because God gave some of us black people such big lips, we have problems. Yes. So thank God. Yeah, I understand. A lot of times you look at white people, it's a line across here. There's no real lip. They want to blow them up. Or I want to go on the beach and get brown. Stay the way you are. I don't have to go on the beach, praise God. I don't have to go anywhere to get brown. I was born brown. Why are you worried about it? Oh, gosh, if I had your eyes, and oh, my God, you're beautiful. Well, you got better start seeing yourself beautiful. Because you're not getting ready to take anything from that person that you want. I just wish I had that. You're not going to get it. Let it go for God's sake. Now, they got some people going around getting colored, what are they? Contacts. You know you ain't got no green eyes. Go with the brown. Thank God for brown eyes. I'm going to get me something to miscolor so I can change the color. Why? Some people have done so much cosmetic work that they look like somebody stretched them way. Who was that? One of the stars in Hollywood. Kenny Rogers. He wanted his eyelids lifted because as you get older, they come down. So they pulled him up, and he looks shocked all the time. You're not supposed to look shocked when nothing's going on. And he's just looking around at everybody. Because now they can't bring him back down. So you're walking around looking scared all day long. People say, something wrong? No. I had my eyes lifted, and this is what I got. People get messed up all over the place. Cosmetic surgery is it's unbelievable, the people that go and have it done. I'm just going to be better. It's unbelievable. Today, I want you to remember this thing. If you don't remember anything else, God is good to me. Am I good to him? No. But he's good to me. Can I change that? Yes. You can change that today. You can be a different person. You don't have to be the way you are. What about happy? Happy. You people in this church, we get to shouting around here and happy and praising God, and some depressed person looking like this. Join us. See, they look happy. We are. The Catholic boy that got saved in our church, Dave Zappolo, he's our Sunday school superintendent. He said the first time he came, he said, these people are crazy. But he came back the second time. And he said, all of a sudden he was jumping. So he got crazy along with us. Say, don't kick something before you try it. We're jumping and hollering for some reason. Join in with us. Let's have a great time. Let's love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Many people want to kill themselves. Jonah didn't want to die, all because God showed some mercy to some sinful people. He's mad. He's depressed. Can you believe that? That's why I didn't want to go down there and preach to them. God, I knew you was going to have mercy on the people. Well, as a preacher, you should have been happy. See, this morning, I want you to remember that you never forget this message. I promise you, you won't. That I am going to change my life. And what I can't do, I'll ask God to do it. Because everything we can't do, but God can do everything. Trust him. So I'm going to make the best of it. So, some of y'all so mad and so angry. They ride down the street cussing out the other people. And that light. All worked up mad. At home one time, they rolled the window down when people get in their way. Where'd you get your license from? Sears and Roebuck? And you better not answer too fast because somebody's mad enough to pull the gun out of there and shoot you. People are miserable. This morning, your life can change. If you're on the verge of suicide, say, I'm not going to do it. Because on the other side of suicide is hell. Nobody's going to heaven to kill themselves. Don't let nobody fool you on that. So think about it. Things are going to be different. It's going to change no matter what. And you can start today with a new life, a new place. I don't have to go this way. People hanging themselves, shooting themselves, beating themselves up. There is a way out. Well, our singers and musicians, please come. There's a way out. What do you want to do? You want to get out? We'll help you get out. We'll show you the way. It's not hard. If anybody tells you it's hard to be a Christian, no, it's not. It's hard for people that don't want to do it. But if you want to do it, it's not hard. This morning, God is speaking to people all over this building, trying to help you before you make that final jump or that final move and do something that you should not do. Let that happen to you. I don't either. I don't know you. But it would be a sad thing to hear that somebody took their life. God is saying, don't do it. I'm here to help you. I'll get you out of the situation regardless of how it is. So while they're singing and playing, would you please stand? If you want prayer, you can come forward and we'll pray for you.